All right, today we are diving deep into the world of white wines, but not the ones you think you know. We're talking about wines that completely break the rules, wines that look, smell, and taste like absolutely nothing you'd expect.
So when I say white wine, what pops into your head? I bet it's something crisp, pale, maybe a little bit fruity, right? Well, what if I told you that's just scratching the surface? There is a whole other universe of white wines out there just waiting to be explored.
You know, we're all pretty comfortable with the classic ideas of red and white wine. But get this, some winemakers out there are looking way beyond that tradition. They're digging up these fascinating, sometimes ancient, techniques to create wines that have, well, their own completely unique personalities. So, you're probably asking, how in the world do they do that? Well, the secret, it all comes down to one thing, a concept called special vinification. And trust me, this is the key that unlocks this whole amazing world we're about to jump into.
At its heart, special vinification just means the winemakers are getting super creative. They're basically throwing out the standard playbook. Instead, they're using all these unconventional methods to give a wine its own distinct signature. We're talking everything from its smell and taste to its color and even how it feels in your mouth.
Okay, first step, we're bundling up and heading into the freezing cold. We're going to look at a wine that is, and I mean this literally, born from ice. It is a super high-risk but very high-reward process that creates something, well, something truly magical. And it all kicks off with a massive gamble. Instead of picking the grapes like normal in the fall, winemakers purposefully leave them hanging on the vine. They're just waiting, hoping for winter's first really deep frost to come and freeze those grapes solid. The whole process is just unbelievably delicate. So the grapes are picked and pressed while they're still frozen little marbles. Now here's the crucial part. Because they're frozen, all the water inside the grape stays behind as tiny ice crystals, so what gets squeezed out is this incredibly concentrated, super sugary liquid, which then ferments really, really slowly into this rich, sweet wine.
So what's it actually like to drink? Well, it's intensely sweet for sure, but there's this amazing high acidity that cuts right through it, so it never feels heavy or syrupy. It's actually surprisingly fresh and vibrant. You get these incredible complex aromas, think tropical fruit, ripe peaches, and honey, all wrapped up in this beautiful, thick, golden liquid in your glass. The final product is often called liquid gold, and I mean, you can totally see why. It is a stunning dessert wine. It pairs perfectly with stuff like fruit tarts, or if you're feeling fancy, foie gras, or even just a really good creamy blue cheese. Amazing. Now, you can't just make this stuff anywhere. You need a really specific climate. One that gets cold enough to freeze the grape solid, but not so cold for so long that it just kills the vine. It actually started in Germany, where they call it ice vine, but today, believe it or not, Canada, especially the Ontario region, is one of the world's top producers. Yeah, all that risk and the fact that you get so little juice from each grape, it comes at a price. A single bottle, which is often smaller than a standard one, can easily run you anywhere from 30 to over €100. It's a true luxury, but you can taste why. All right, let's do a complete 180. We're going from that modern, icy marvel, and we're traveling way back in time to look at an ancient technique that is making a huge comeback. Let's talk about orange wine. Okay, the easiest way to wrap your head around orange wine is this simple phrase. It's a white wine that's made like a red wine. I know it sounds a little weird, but that one little twist is the key to absolutely everything. So let's break that down a bit. With a normal white wine, right, you press the grapes and get that juice away from the skins immediately. Fermentation happens with just the juice. But with orange wine, they take that white grape juice and ferment it with the skins, the seeds, even the stems, the whole shebang, just like they do for red wine. And this is where all the magic happens. That extended time hanging out with the skins is what pulls out the color, the texture. We're talking tannins here, and a whole universe of complex, savory flavors that you would just never, ever find in a typical white wine. So yeah, the name orange wine is definitely not a gimmick. Just look at that. That time on the skins gives the wine this incredible spectrum of colors. Everything from a pale gold all the way to a deep, rich amber. Stunning. So what do you get in the glass? It's a wine with way more body and structure than you'd ever expect from a white. It has tannins that give it a little bit of a grip,
The aromas are just fascinating. We're talking orange peel, wet stones, all sorts of spices. It has this really cool earthy, savory character. And get this is an ancient technique. It started thousands of years ago in the country of Georgia, where they'd ferment the wine in these huge clay pots called kuvri that they'd actually bury in the ground. How cool is that?
So, ice wine and orange wine. They're definitely two of the most famous examples of this kind of thing, but winemaker creativity does not stop there. Oh, no. There's a whole other world of flavors out there being created through all sorts of methods. Just think about aromatized wines for a second, like vermouth. In this case, winemakers take a base wine and then they infuse it with a whole blend of botanicals, things like orange peel, different herbs, spices, to create this really complex, layered drink that's great on its own, or, as we know, absolutely shines in a cocktail.
Okay, so let's put these two side by side and really nail it down. On one hand, you've got ice wine. Its story starts with grapes frozen on the vine, and the result is a super sweet, fruity dessert wine. On the other hand, you've got orange wine. Its story is all about white grapes fermented with their skins, giving you a complex, tannic, savory wine that can totally stand up to some seriously robust food. I mean, you start with white grapes for both, but you end up in two radically different places.
So you see, the world of wine is so much bigger and way more interesting than just red or white. These special techniques open up a whole universe of flavors. So now that you know the story behind the bottle, the only real question is, which journey are you going to take first? Will it be the liquid gold born from ice, or the ancient, earthy amber? The choice is yours.